Distance education and online learning are related, but not synonymous with each other. It includes remote learning. It is a modality of accessing learning materials for students who are not physically in a classroom setting. There's a separation of physical space that is implied. Distance education has its roots in correspondence courses, where students would receive course materials by mail and send assignments back through the mail. Distance education can involve other modes of communication, like telephone, radio, or television. Distance education may or may not require online elements. An example of a distance education real-world scenario is where students may access materials to conduct a chemistry lab through their school, conduct the lab and record results at home, and then turn in a lab report via paper, email, or through an LMS. In this example, it is both a method of accessing the lab materials and the physical distance between the student and the instructor that characterizes distance learning, and the fact that not all of the learning activities occur online. Online learning, on the other hand, has been used to mean a range of things, including simply all online learning experiences using technology, or the most recent version of distance learning. For our purposes, we will define online learning as learning that takes place wholly online. Online learning can be synchronous or asynchronous. Online learning can even mean students accessing and completing coursework in the classroom with the teacher present. A real-world example of online learning is when a group of high school chemistry students may access all of their learning materials online. They may watch a lecture about creating solutions that their teacher has made using a program like Screencastify. Then they might conduct a lab about different types, methods, and factors affecting a solution using an augmented reality tool on their phone or their device. Students complete formative and summative assessments online. They communicate with their lab partners and instructor using communication or collaboration tools like Google Meet, Zoom, or Padlet. Online learning and distance education overlap when distance learning relies heavily on online modalities for learning and instructions. Students access lectures through video and submit assignments through an LMS. The advantages of distance learning include flexibility, accessibility to content otherwise reserved for matriculated students, the ability to earn micro-credentials, longer response times for those who struggle with processing or require longer response times. The disadvantages of distance learning are that it requires a higher level of self-motivation, self-regulation, and discipline. Response times and feedback in a distance learning environment can be longer than those of face-to-face or even a synchronous online environment. Online theories that distance education and online learning best support include cognitivism. Cognitivism is concerned with the neurological functioning of the brain in the process of receiving, storing, and retrieving information. In response to behaviorism, cognitivism is comprised of many subtheories, including information processing theory, which says basically it's a theory about receiving, encoding, and retrieving information. Cognitive load theory, which is concerned with the amount of information that an individual can store in their working memory at one time. And self-regulated learning, a student-centered approach whereby the learner shapes their own learning environment through metacognitive strategies, goal setting, and choice. Distance learning and online learning have been touted as the ideal avenue for self-directed learning and for students learning to be tailored to their own goals. For a student who has a high degree of self-efficacy, the students can regulate their cognitive load by approaching course material in chunks and revisiting sections as many times as necessary for proper encoding. Students can shape their own learning by the order in which they approach material, and in a course designed with cognitivism theory in mind, students may have voice and choice in their methods of demonstrating learning, support for understanding their own metacognition, and guidance and expectations around goal setting. Online learning best integrates with behaviorism in part because instructional strategies like extrinsic reward strategy and direct instruction are easily applicable online. Teachers may employ behaviorist learning activities like learning stations with Edpuzzle and quizzes, as well as drill and practice activities with Kahoot. The behaviorist equation is very straightforward: introducing stimuli, eliciting response, and incentivizing or disincentivizing the response. Doing so, one can change behavior. With the added trends of EdTech toward gamification and adaptive learning, behavior strategies can work in consort with cognitive approaches to cognitivist approaches to enhance core content knowledge from which to build more creative approaches to demonstrating learning. The top 3 LMS systems for distance learning that would be appropriate for use in our rural and small district have been narrowed down based on ease of student and teacher use, keeping costs minimal, student security, and performance in areas with limited access to high-speed internet. These 3 interfaces include Google Classroom, Canvas, and Schoology. I've broken the different systems down into several categories. First, we'll look at the interface. The interface of Google Classroom is simple and intuitive. There's not much customization available. Canvas, it has a user-friendly interface for both students and teachers and a lower level of customization. Schoology has a user-friendly interface once the user is familiar with the interface and a high level of customization for the teacher. Then we look at integration with other tech tools. Google Classroom has seamless integration, but only really with Google Workspace tools. Canva also integrates with a repertoire of apps, but a smaller repertoire of apps than Schoology. Schoology integrates a large repertoire of apps, some with gradebook integration, so grading is automatic. Collaboration features are available in all 3, including discussion boards and comments in the gradebooks. Accessibility features are not integrated in Google Classroom. In Canva, there is an immersive reader and that is integrated into the system. And in Schoology, there is also an immersive reader integrated into the system. In terms of budget, the lowest cost is Google Classroom, but it is not as robust of a system as Schoology or Canva. Canva is more expensive than Schoology, and Schoology is budget-friendly for small districts. As an LMS, Google Classroom is not as robust as Schoology and Canvas. It does not have nearly the same amount of features, including an embedded immersive reader. Schoology is the best choice for this district based mostly on the degree of customization on the teacher end, the large repertoire of app integration, and the immersive reader feature. Schoology is also lower cost than Canvas, but more expensive than Google Classroom, as I've said. 3 best practices for the district when planning and designing online learning experiences are as follows. First, plan for device and internet accessibility. Harness resources to provide devices, subsidies for internet access, and hotspots for students. Both the technology and accessibility gap exacerbate negative outcomes for students in remote learning scenarios. Second, utilize LMS and adaptive technology to gather and respond to student interaction with online learning platforms. One advantage of online learning is that students' behavior is documented within the system. Teachers and administrators can utilize this data to intervene early with students who are underperforming or underutilizing the platform. Additionally, teachers and administrators may gain insight into which aspects of the curriculum or delivery are most effective and concentrate on those areas for maximum efficacy. Third, districts should provide direct instruction to teachers, staff, students, and parents on interacting and utilizing the online learning platform. Districts should make short tutorials available online, as well as provide access to tech support for all of those that use the system or support students who are using the system. One proven method for ensuring student access and success in online learning is at the secondary level is for parents to be regularly checking in on their students' progress. Familiarity with the platform facilitates the safety net. Thank you for listening to my proposal, and I hope you have a great day.